All right, as you can see, my axle is broken again. If you follow my Instagram, you've seen that I've gone through maybe 3 or 4 axles in the past few months. The built engine is complete, and I still haven't really figured out what axle angle works well for these cars. I still like to be pretty low, but these cars don't like it, and with the added power, it doesn't really work well. And yeah, so I'm going to be changing the axle today. I'm going to show you guys how to change the axle pretty quickly, in my opinion. And I'm sure you noticed my fenders are completely off, my wide body's completely off. I'm selling the Rallybacker kit because I like it, but I just don't feel like it's the kit that I really wanted. So I took it off completely. I took off the fenders, and I have a new kit coming in soon. It's a couple of kits. It's a few kits that I'm gonna piece together and make one, and I think it'll look really good. So for now, I'm just driving around without fenders or, real coverings over my quarter panels. And I have another project that is going to involve using 350Z axles on the FRS, using your stock diff and your stock knuckles. I've been doing some measurements, and I actually have 2 IS300 diffs right here. Shout out to my boy Mark for those. This one has the PBM diff risers in it. This one just has regular bushings. But essentially, I'm going to use the IS300 axle stubs right here. These come out, and I'm going to mate those to the 350Z axles, and then I'm going to use 350Z wheel bearing assemblies that'll convert this to 5x114, and 350Z rear rotors, and everything else should bolt right on, and I will have 350Z axles, which should last a lot longer than these annoying FRS axles that keep snapping on me. So that'll be later this week. For today, I'm just going to swap in another FRS axle into this just so I can drive it around and, have some fun in the rain. I'm going to raise up the rear about an inch more because I think that's another issue. Even with the subframe and diff risers from PBM, I'm still too low, I guess, to clutch kick, because every time I clutch kick in second, it catches and breaks this axle or both axles when I have the welded diff in, which is that top one right there. That top one's welded. This is OEM open IS300, and in the car right now is a OEM FRS LSD Torsen style. I believe it's Torsen style rear diff. All right, so let me pop off this axle and get this going. All right, so ignore the fatty spacer. Took off the wheel. I'm gonna take off the axle nut, and because it's already disconnected and broken, I'm just gonna punch it through, then take off the diff side with a huge crowbar that I have, and then I'll take apart this and show you what to do real quick and throw in the new one.
Got some top from this strip bitch. She from K. Just bought a Glock with a full of clip. Boy, don't play with me, this bitch a hoe. Matter at the stove. You know how it goes, she wanna smoke. So I bought some dope.
As you can see, this axle is not old at all, but it still snapped. Cool, man. Next. All right, the inside can be a little tricky. I use this huge crowbar, and I generally take off the exhaust, but sometimes you can just snake it right in there, right between the differential and the axle head, whatever you want to call it. You want to make sure that when you are prying this off, you snake it right between there, right there. So on the inside of this lip, see where it's dark? Not between this, but right against the diff and like the first metal ring that you can see. and that's where you'll get the best leverage. I'm gonna snake it right in there, and hopefully do this with one hand. Get it right, it'll pop right out without any extra work, just like that. So like I said, that first ring, you want it between the diff and that first ring. Did it with one hand and this pretty long pry bar. It's about as long as my arm. So now that that's out, you have a full broken axle right there. And what I'm gonna do now is take off these two bolts. I believe these are both 17s. This bolt here, and I generally take off the trailing arm bolt right. Motherfucker. This one, this toe arm alignment, whatever you want to call it. This one. So 1, 2, 3, and sometimes you have to take off this, but I'm gonna try to do it without it. I've done it without it before, and then you just move this whole piece to the left, and you should have enough room to squeeze the new axle in there, pop it in, and then get it into here. Alright, so I loosened all those and I'm just gonna slide it in. That's it. Just push it and it shits it flat next to the diff. And then hold this up, walk away, watch your fingers with the rotor. It should slide right in. Just like that. And your axle is installed. Get your whatever this is, 32 mil. Get in by hand and torque it down. And then reassemble the knuckle onto the lower control arm, your trailing arm, and put your toe adjustment arm back on. Axle replacement, brand new axle in there, no crazy tools. Most important tools in my opinion are 17, 19, a 19 deep socket, and a 17 deep socket like this right here, and the 32 millimeter socket for the axle nut. Get an impact, have a nice 1/2 inch wrench, have a nice 3/8 wrench for the speed sensor right here, or ABS sensor, whichever one it is. You're definitely not going to want to ruin that, but it's not really that hard to replace. If you do ruin it, I'd buy an extra just in case. Yep, and then take off your trailing, I keep calling this trailing arm, your toe arm adjustment, and that's it. That is your axle replacement. Shouldn't take you too long. It took me maybe 20 minutes, if even, maybe 15 minutes. After a while you get used to it, and it becomes wicked easy to do. So yeah, like and subscribe. I will make another video about the 350Z axle swap on our stock FRSs. Again, to run that down, it'll be IS300 axle ends that'll go into the OEM diff that are right there. 350Z axles with 350Z wheel bearing assemblies that'll have the studs already, and 350Z base model rear rotors. So that'll all tie together and hopefully mount into the OEM knuckle that's right here, because our wheel bearings come off with 4 bolts right in the back and then it slides out. And hopefully, I'll have a solution for stronger axles on our OEM diffs, because our OEM diffs are great. I like them. They're LSD already, and the gear ratio feels great. And hopefully I won't have to worry about this shit happening anymore. Alright, so the axle is done, and this is where the car currently sits. Like I said, I took off the entire rally backer kit because I actually lost a piece on the highway, the piece that goes to the front here and kind of on the side. So I took it off, I posted it for sale, and I already have a couple of people that are interested. And I just did a shipping quote for one of them. So that may be gone very soon. And I already have some new panels coming that aren't a specific kit, but I'm going to be throwing 3 different companies together just to kind of get the look that I want. But for now, I'm running just like this. No fenders, rear quarters are cut, and no side skirts. I have side skirts coming in today though, which I think will look very nice with the rear panels and front panels that I bought. So this is it. The axle is fixed. I have the 350Z stuff coming this week, so I'll be making a video on hopefully how to put 350Z axles on your FRS without any major upgrades. I think there's minor modification that needs to be done to the knuckle just to accept the 350Z wheel bearing assembly, but other than that, I don't think it's too labor intensive. I just got an alignment, but I don't like it, so I'm gonna go back at some point and get the rear camber pulled out so it's at least -2-ish, or closer to 0, just so I use that whole tire. And that's it. You guys are gonna see very soon what this turns into. I may keep the purple, I might paint the new pieces purple, but I'm still deciding. As for the engine, the engine tuning is complete. I'm forged engine, IAG block, some head upgrades, and I'm on 20 PSI, so I should be high 400s, maybe low 500s. I'll do a video soon just with some flybys and sliding so you guys can hear what that sounds like. That's really it. So new wide body coming soon. Built engine and tuning is completely done now. I have the full angle kit up front. I'm not sure if I updated that. Full Part Shop Max angle kit. And that's it for now. She's doing good. So like I said before, stay tuned. Follow me on Instagram. I update a lot more on Instagram. But this thing is coming along nicely, and I am very excited for the new wide body to come in. Very excited. I also got a tire machine, so if you guys want to see like how to use a tire machine, a cheap one, let me know. All right, see y'all soon.